The case of Axel Rudakubana has been ongoing, and the initial focus was, of course, on the tragic knife attack that resulted in the deaths of the three girls in the dance class in Southport. However, this took an even darker turn as rudakubana now faces new charges, and he appears to be implicated in potential acts of terrorism due to his alleged possession of the deadly toxin ricin and an Al-Qaeda manual. Rudakubana's silence in court seems to be something, a stance he's reportedly maintained across multiple hearings. It was notable, and his defense counsel, Stan Rice, KC, attributed his silence to reasons of his own. Silence, of course, can have many interpretations. The persistence of his silence may suggest a deliberate legal or personal strategy, especially considering the gravity of the charges, which now extend to biological weapons and terrorism. And this could be construed as a refusal to engage with the process, or a calculated choice to avoid self-incrimination or public interpretation of his demeanour. Though, of course, in many of the court drawings, he's got his jumper pulled up over his face as much as possible. Merseyside Police Chief Constable Serena Kennedy's statement reinforces that despite the ricin and the terrorism-related allegations, the original knife attack is not treated as a terrorist incident. And that, I think, is important for the people who are saying, yes, well, of course, I always said it was terrorism, because that isn't the case. And the chatter in social media is hideous. Even here, these people saying, well, you're wrong, you're right, you're wrong, as if we are all judges. We aren't. We have to let the legal process take its case. And there are two processes here. The one is the care and consideration for the families of those who were killed and those who were injured, and the other is the legal case. There is nothing else except for condemning the riot, which a riot is always wrong. This case may reflect a careful line walked by authorities to separate motivations or potential influences likely to present unnecessary speculation and maintain objectivity in a high-stakes investigation. And the more the chatter, the harder it is to prosecute somebody who presumably has not pleaded guilty. The police's discovery of ricin, a potential and lethal toxin, and the military PDF file reflects the expansive and complex nature of the charges. But I understand on the dark web it's certainly possible to download that PDF. It doesn't say that he is a member of Al-Qaeda, and it certainly doesn't say that he is a Muslim. And these additional allegations, particularly under the Biological Weapons Act of 1974 and the Terrorism Act, are severe, including prohibitions against the production and the possession of biological toxins that could be misused in terrorist actions. This doesn't look good for him. While Chief Constable Kennedy emphasized that no ricin was found at the crime scene, another important factor, there was no risk to the public. Therefore, the nature of these charges naturally invites questions of premeditation and raises concerns about what may have been intended. Politically, the case has already drawn attention, with figures like Robert Jenrick and Kemi Badenoch irresponsibly questioning whether information was concealed from the public. The public doesn't have a right to know. The public has a right to know that the police are doing their job and the law courts are doing their job. It doesn't have a right to know the information. The accusations of a cover-up that reflect the intensity of public response and the political interest in the transparency on such volatile matters is about a misunderstanding of these matters, the misinformation spread by other politicians and people who, again, should know better. The Downing Street Post spokesperson rightly cautioned restraint, highlighting that the trial process must now be allowed to uncover the facts without interference. Rudakubana's trial, now set for January, will likely bring further scrutiny and perhaps intensify the discussion on both the prevention of youth radicalization and the legal handling of terrorism-related charges alongside serious criminal offences like murder. And it's important now to let the police and the legal system get on with its job and prepare the case without being compromised by the wittering of social media. It's not as if you're in a position to make judgment because you don't have all the facts. And this leaping to conclusions is shameful at best and harmful at worst.